which could be a first step in that Banana Boat team coming to New York. I don't think it's impossible. I definitely don't think it's impossible. Next up, we're going to be talking UFC 213 with Frank Mazzei, and he is right now on the line. Perfect timing. Frank, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you, Ben?
Doing great. Doing great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it very much. Once we got Frank Mazzei, hopefully I got that right, and he is
close enough. It's Mazzei, but I've heard it pronounced, trust me, many different ways.
Mazzei. Okay, I definitely got that down. And he is a part of the Whole Nother Level podcast, which is on Spreaker.com. A great podcast. They're on, I believe they're on right now. They're on every Tuesday, also.
Yes.
5 p.m. Central Time. I think that's 6 Eastern. So great show.
Yes.
Go check it out. Whole Nother Level.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. So UFC 213. There was some. We're going to talk about the main card. We'll also talk about a preliminary fight that you think would be something for the listeners to look out for. But there was breaking news. We got to talk about this right now. We've got Amanda Nunes, who reportedly is in the hospital, and
yes,
it looks like this fight has actually been canceled. I just got this message about 3 minutes ago. So the main event for this fight, at least one of the main events, has reportedly been canceled, and you've heard it first. Well, I would say second, because Beach Report already came out with it, but you've heard it second on the BS3 Sports Show. But what did you hear anything about what happened, and what does this mean for this fight?
The only thing that I had heard was that she had been feeling ill all week. And so it wasn't like something that had just happened, that she hadn't been feeling good this whole week leading up. But I guess from what I've heard, it just continually kept getting worse. And I'm hoping so much that she's able to fight, because I am so excited about this fight, and to lose it,
Yeah, that's definitely a fight that a lot of people want to see. To not be able to see this fight, I think, I don't know, maybe people may cancel their pay-per-view. Maybe people may not even buy it. I mean, this is too short notice to add a fight. I don't know if they're going to try to do that, but the fight's going to be in about, 8-9 hours. So is that even possible, you think, to add a replacement fight with this so much short notice?
I'm just speculating right now, but I would think that maybe they'll bump up something from the prelim, the Travis Brown fight. Yeah. I believe is the main on the FS prelims. That they may bump that up and make that the fifth fight on the main card. I can't imagine that it's going to go on. I mean, if you're scheduled to fight and you're in the hospital the same day as your fight, I mean, the odds of that fight going through and you getting cleared and being in good enough shape to actually to do it, because Valentina Shevchenko is a machine, and you don't want to step in there if you're at 50%, 60%, and you have this going on or that going on. You'd be better off just canceling it altogether.
Yeah, you don't want to step in the ring with her. Looking at her record, she's 14-2, and they call her the Bullet. I mean, she's got this lady. You had to look up a picture of her, everybody that's listening. She has a gun tattooed on her side, with looks like with a package of bullets next to it. Who has that? What guy even has a tattoo like that? So I know she's a beast.
She's had her first professional fight at 14.
Wow.
I mean, so she's only lost twice, and one of those losses was to Amanda Nunes a little over a year ago. So it's not like Amanda couldn't beat her, but she's gotten better in that year, and a lot of people feel that if that fight would have gone 5 rounds, Shevchenko would have gotten her.
Wow, 14 years old. That's crazy. That kind of reminds me of it was an Asian girl. I think it was like 14, and she fought someone that was 21 and actually won, which is beyond crazy. But yeah. So that was the breaking news that just came out within the past 5 minutes, so that fight will not be happening. So that's going to mean we got Yoel Romero versus Robert Whitaker. I'm pretty interested in this fight. You got Romero, who's 12-1. He's the number one. They're fighting for the interim middleweight championship. Robert Whitaker, I've seen his last fight. This guy's got some hands, and I think that's going to be interesting in this fight.
Robert Whitaker is a legit boxer. I mean, he's not just MMA boxing and MMA striking. He's a for-real boxer. His hands, he has the best striking percentage in the history of the UFC middleweight division. Wow. I mean, so he's not throwing a lot of punches that don't land. And you look at his last fight against Jacare, I mean, you talk about his stand-up game. Jacare had him on the ground and had his back, and he got up. I mean, Jacare is probably one of the best in the world. When he gets you down and he has your back, you can pretty much just tap. Your lights are going out. And he beat the snot out of him, basically. Kept the fight standing, and I'm super excited for this one because his takedown defense is really good as well. And Yoel Romero, I mean, look, he's an Olympic caliber wrestler. He has a silver medal, so you know what he's going to do. I mean, he's explosive with the knees, and his wrestling game is ridiculous. This one is, I think this could have fight of the night written all over it, just depending how it goes. But my only thing with Romero is, usually when I hear about his name, I think of the things that he's done that were like sitting on the stool a little too long when the bell rang because you were trying to catch your breath a little bit more, or having your corner throw water on you so that the commissioners had to come in and wipe you off so you get about an extra 10, 15 seconds of rest time to, you know, kind of help out with that cardio and catch your breath a little bit. So he's had a couple of questionable incidences, I'll say, but just from an athletic standpoint and the fact that he's 40 years old, I mean, he's just in ridiculous shape.
Wow, he's 40? I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yoel Romero is 40. I mean, Robert Whitaker's 26. So, I mean, you got experience, but I mean, there's nothing about Yoel that looks like a 40-year-old man.
Wow, no. And number one contender. So this fight right here, obviously they're going to get the interim middleweight championship. And, this is definitely one I'm looking forward to. And I think now a lot of people are going to be looking forward to this one because this is kind of they're going to be the big fight on this card. So,
absolutely. I mean, they lost the Cerrone Lawler fight for this one too. So this card could have been just super stacked if everything would have happened for it. I mean, it's still very good, and not to give away a future prediction, but either of these guys, Romero or Whitaker, I think beat the brakes off of Michael Bisping. It'd just be a matter of time for them getting not just the interim title, but the actual middleweight title.
All right. We will definitely see, and we will get to predictions towards the end, but definitely feel free and bring it in. This other fight right here, Curtis Blades, I believe his name is
Blades. Yep.
And the other name is Daniel. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. I'm sure you probably can. Omia
Lamchuk.
Wow, great job at that.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's your thoughts on this fight? Looking at the photos, I love to look at the photos on UFC.com because to me, it kind of gives you an idea of what type of fighter this guy is, at least for me. And Daniel, the guy from Poland, he looks like he will literally murder someone. With his whole tattoos, he just looks like, I don't play, and I will choke you out, and I will not release the choke. That's what he looks like. But what's your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, he is. This fight being on the main card, honestly, it's a head scratcher. I mean, Curtis Blades, they're still kind of labeling him as a prospect. I mean, in fairness, his only loss is to Francis Ngannou, and there's no shame in that. And he took that fight on short notice. I mean, he's a wrestler, and he has ridiculous punching power. All his wins are by knockout. So his 7 wins, basically, I believe he knocked out everybody. And the styles here are going to be, I mean, Omi Alanchuk, he's a veteran. He's experienced. He's durable. He can stand and fight, but his best chance to win this fight is to get it to the ground. He has good submission grappling, and that's what he's going to do. He does not want to stand up and just throw hands with Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
That could end. It could end very badly and very quick in the first.
Yeah, you don't want to see that happen. He's 7.
No.
Yeah, and his KO percentage is 100. He has 0 submissions. So that is his game right there. So you don't want to get into a match of hands. I definitely agree with you on that. That is not a road that you want to go down. All right, so next fight, Fabricio Verdum, he's 21-6-1. Yep, and Alistair Overeem. This guy has 42. I'm not even going to try to add this up. 42 plus 15 plus 1. He is the most, probably, I don't know, got to be the most experienced guy as far as fights in the UFC right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Alistair Overeem is, you could easily say, and it's not exaggeration or hyperbole, that he is the most decorated heavyweight striker in the history of MMA. And you probably wouldn't find maybe 1 or 2 people that might, throw out a few other names, but his name, because he goes back to the K1 days, and he was the Grand Prix champion, all weights, all comers, just basically stand up and just throwing hands. And, I mean, that's what he likes to do, and, yeah.
So that's, and I know Verdum was a champion at one point in time, wasn't he?
Yes, and yes, he lost to Stipe, and so did Overeem. Both of their last losses came to the same guy. They both lost to the current heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic. So whoever wins this, with their win streaks that they're both currently on, is going to get another shot at Stipe, I believe.
Yeah, Fabricio's number 1, Alistair is number 3. So yeah, whoever wins this fight, that is going to be what's up next for them. So that's going to be interesting to see how that fight goes down. Excited about that one. Anytime Overeem is fighting, it's an exciting fight to see for sure.
Yeah. This is their third one. This is their third fight together too. They both have one apiece.
Round 3. Oh yeah, this is it right here. Next one, Anthony Pettis, aka Showtime, and Jim Miller. Jim Miller, once again looking at these photos, Jim Miller looks like he drives trucks for a living and he fights in his part-time gig. That's what it looks like to me. And he doesn't have a nickname. What guy? I mean, like everybody else has some type of nickname. His name is just Jim Miller. Jim Miller, the trucker, with the trucker hat. But anyway, I don't mean to stereotype, but looking at this photo, that's what it looks like. Anthony Pettis, number 6. He's 19-6. He is another, I think, decorated fighter. He's got 53 KO percentage, 32 submissions. So he can, looks like he can do some of everything. But what's your thoughts on breaking down this one?
This one's going to be interesting because Anthony's coming back up for 155. He's lost 4 of his last 5, and it's the guys that he lost to were all top guys and some champions. So it's not like they were bad losses, but still, you can't lose 4 of your last 5 fights. He dropped down to 145, and he beat Charles Oliveira, but then he lost to Max Holloway, and you could tell he just didn't look right at 145. Like, that's just too much of a weight cut. So I'm glad to see him coming back to 155. He said he's recommitted himself to weightlifting and putting on a little bigger, some more muscle mass and everything. But this fight, Jim Miller fights kind of like he looks. He's short and he's really thick for 155. He likes to box, and his ground game is ridiculous. If he gets you down, he's got them thick hands. I mean, he's basically going to smush you, and it would be a very bad night for Anthony Pettis if that happens. Pettis wants to keep this fight on his feet, even though he is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but not all black belts are created equal in that regard when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, there's black belts, and then there's like another level, so to speak, and Jim Miller's on that other